The fear started the same way every night, with her father's footsteps. First, he would say good night and stand in the doorway with the hallway light behind him, making the room feel safe and small. Then he would flip the switch, and the darkness would pour in like water filling a space that had been empty. Then came his footsteps, moving away from her door and down the hall. The sound of them fading, the soft click of his own bedroom door closing. And then she was alone. The closet was across from her bed, near the dresser. During the day, it was just a closet. The door stayed open because her mother said closed closets made rooms feel smaller. Inside were dresses and jackets and a row of shoes on the floor. A shelf at the top held old board games and a stuffed bear she didn't play with anymore. Nothing about it was unusual. But at night, after the light went off and her father's footsteps faded, something in the closet changed. It started in the corner, near where the dresser cast a shadow. At first, the girl thought it was just her eyes adjusting. Shapes always look strange in the dark. But this shape didn't settle. It didn't become familiar. It stayed unfamiliar. And it stayed still in a way that felt like waiting. She couldn't tell what it was. It might have been the sleeve of a jacket, hanging just wrong. It might have been the bear on the shelf, tilted forward in a way it hadn't been that morning. It might have been the shadow itself, pooling in the corner where the light from the street lamp outside couldn't quite reach. But it felt like it was watching her. She lay in bed with her blanket pulled up to her chin and tried not to look. But not looking made it worse. Because then she didn't know if the shape was still there or if it had moved. So she looked, and it was there, still in the corner, still waiting. Some nights, she thought about calling for her father, calling for her mother. She imagined him coming back, turning on the light, showing her that it was nothing, just clothes, just shadows. But she didn't call. She told herself it was because she didn't want to seem scared of something so small. Really, she was afraid that when he turned on the light and showed her it was nothing, she wouldn't believe him. Because it didn't feel like nothing. She tried closing her eyes, but that didn't help. She could still feel the closet across from her, the shape in the corner, the silence that pressed against the room. She tried counting, tried thinking about other things, tried imagining herself somewhere else. But she always opened her eyes again, and the shape was always there. Some nights it seemed taller. Some nights it seemed to lean. Once, she was sure it had been on the left side of the closet near the jackets. And now it was on the right side, near the shelf. But she couldn't be certain. Memory played tricks in the dark. She thought about getting up and closing the closet door. But that would mean getting out of bed. That would mean walking across the room in the dark, turning her back on the shape, reaching for the door, hearing it creak as it moved. And what if, when she reached for it, something reached back? So she stayed in bed. She waited. The hours passed slowly. The house settled with soft creaks and groans. Outside, a car went by. The street lamp outside her window flickered, just for a second, and the shadow in the closet seemed to shift. But maybe it didn't. Eventually, the sky outside began to change. Not bright yet, but less dark. A deep blue that meant morning was coming. The girl's eyes felt heavy. The shape in the closet didn't seem as sharp now. It looked more like clothes again, more like shadow. By the time the sun came up, the closet was just a closet. She got out of bed and walked over to it, slowly, and looked inside. Jackets, dresses, shoes. The bear on the shelf, sitting exactly where it always sat. Nothing had moved. She went downstairs for breakfast. Her mother asked if she slept well, and she said yes. Her father asked if she wanted juice, and she said yes. The day unfolded the way days do, full of small things that didn't mean much. But all day she knew. Tonight, after dinner, after her father said goodnight, after the light went off and his footsteps faded, she would lie in bed again, and the shape would be waiting. She didn't know what it was. She didn't know if it would ever do anything, but she knew it would be there. And she knew that every minute that passed during the day was 1 minute closer to the moment when the light would go off again.